Welcome. You're about to listen to one of the most powerful books ever written, Sun Tzu's Art of War. Written over 2,500 years ago by a Chinese military strategist, this ancient text has shaped the thinking of generals, business leaders, athletes, and philosophers ever since. In just 13 short chapters, Sun Tzu lays out a complete philosophy for winning, not just on the battlefield, but in life. Whether you're navigating competition, conflict, or your own inner battles, there is wisdom here for you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Laying plans. Know before you act. Before any battle is fought, it is already won or lost in the mind. Sun Tzu opens with a bold claim. War is a matter of vital importance to the state. It must be studied carefully, not rushed into. He gives us 5 fundamental factors that determine success. Moral law, which means your people believe in your cause. Heaven, meaning timing and conditions. Earth, meaning terrain and environment. The commander, meaning your own qualities of wisdom and courage. And method, meaning discipline, organization, and logistics. Victory belongs to the commander who studies these factors deeply and who knows both himself and his enemy. Ask yourself today, in whatever challenge you face, have you laid your plans carefully? Or are you acting on impulse? Chapter 2. Waging War. Speed and Sustainability. A prolonged war drains a nation of its wealth, its people, and its spirit. Sun Tzu understood something that many leaders forget. War is expensive. Every day of conflict is a day of cost. His advice is blunt. Move fast, keep your campaigns short, and where possible, use the resources of your enemy rather than depleting your own. There is a deeper insight here too. If you exhaust yourself chasing a long-term battle, you lose even if you win. Sustainable effort matters. Whether you're building a business, pursuing a goal, or managing a conflict, pace yourself. A drawn-out struggle rarely ends well. Chapter 3. Attack by Stratagem. Win without fighting. This is perhaps the most quoted idea in the entire book. Sun Tzu says, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. To win every battle through force is not the highest skill. The highest skill is to win before the battle begins, through strategy, positioning, and deception. The best general takes the enemy's army intact rather than destroying it. He attacks plans, then alliances, then armies, in that order. Brute force is the last resort. What this means for you is simple. Before you confront a problem head-on, ask, is there a smarter way through it? Can you outthink rather than outfight? Chapter 4. Tactical Dispositions. Position yourself to win. A skilled general first puts himself in a position where defeat is impossible, and then waits for an opportunity to defeat the enemy. This is the art of defense before offense. You do not create your own victory. You wait for your enemy to create it for you. Invincibility lies in defense. The possibility of victory lies in the attack. Sun Tzu is teaching us something profound here. Protect what you have, build an unassailable foundation, and strike only when the moment is right. Reckless aggression is the enemy of lasting success. Chapter 5. Energy. Direct force and surprise. Sun Tzu introduces a beautiful concept here, the interplay between normal force and extraordinary force. In battle, you engage your enemy with ordinary tactics, but you win with surprise. Think of it like music. The notes you play are the normal force, the unexpected change of rhythm, the sudden shift in key. That is the extraordinary force. There are only 5 musical notes, yet their combinations produce more melodies than can ever be heard. In strategy, the same applies. A small set of principles, endlessly recombined with creativity and timing, can produce infinite outcomes. Cultivate your energy. Surprise is a weapon. Chapter 6. Weak points and strong. Control the battlefield. Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten the battle will arrive exhausted. Sun Tzu teaches us to control the pace and location of conflict. Don't let your enemy dictate the terms. Force him to come to you, on your ground, at your time. Strike where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. Know his strengths, attack his weaknesses, and keep your own strengths hidden. The general who can do this holds the fate of the battle in his hands from the very start. Chapter 7. Maneuvering. The art of indirect approaches. In military maneuvering, nothing is more difficult than turning the devious into the direct and misfortune into gain. This chapter is about turning obstacles into advantages and finding the direct path by going indirect. Sometimes the road that appears longer is faster. The approach that seems weak is stronger. Great commanders confuse the enemy about their intentions, make the crooked road seem like the straight road, and arrive where they are least expected. In your own life, when every obvious path is blocked, look for the unexpected angle. The indirect route often leads to the fastest destination. Chapter 8. Variation of Tactics. Adapt or be destroyed. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested. A general who understands when not to act is as powerful as one who knows how to act. This chapter warns against rigidity. The best plan becomes a trap if you cannot adapt it. Sun Tzu identifies 5 dangerous faults in a commander: recklessness, cowardice, temper, excessive concern for reputation, and excessive compassion. Any one of these can destroy an army. Flexibility of mind is the mark of the superior strategist. Chapter 9. The Army on the March. Read the signs. Sun Tzu now offers something remarkable, a field guide to reading the world around you. He describes dozens of signs. How dust rises tells you which direction cavalry is approaching. How birds behave tells you if ambushes are hidden in the trees. How soldiers act tells you whether a general is respected or feared. Observation is intelligence. The wise leader is always watching, always reading the environment, never assuming. If you want to understand what is truly happening around you, in your organization, in your relationships, learn to read the signs before they become obvious. Chapter 10. Terrain. Know your ground. Sun Tzu identifies 6 types of terrain: accessible, entangling, deadlock, enclosed, precipitous, and distant. Each requires a different strategy. And then he speaks of 6 calamities that come not from nature, but from the general himself: flight, insubordination, collapse, ruin, disorganization, rout. Every one of these is a failure of leadership, not a failure of soldiers. Know your terrain: physical, social, competitive, and know that the greatest danger is often not outside you, but within your own organization and within yourself. Chapter 11. The 9 situations. Adapt to circumstances. This is one of the longest and richest chapters. Sun Tzu describes 9 military situations, from dispersive ground where soldiers think of home to deadly ground where they must fight or die. His insight: soldiers who have no option but to fight will fight with everything they have. On deadly ground, wage battle. On desperate terrain, you must improvise. When all escape is cut off, 1,000 men will fight with the strength of 10,000. The lesson for all of us: sometimes the greatest motivation comes from having no way out but through. Chapter 12. The attack by fire. Use power. Wisely, fire is the most powerful weapon Sun Tzu discusses, and he surrounds its use with the most caution. There are 5 ways to attack with fire, and 5 conditions for when fire can be used. But the deepest point here is this: a wise ruler does not mobilize his army out of anger. A wise general does not fight out of resentment. Act only when it is in your interest. Anger can return to joy, but a nation that has been destroyed cannot be rebuilt. A man who is dead cannot be brought back to life. Use your most powerful weapons only when you are certain and when the moment is truly right. Chapter 13. The Use of Spies. Intelligence wins wars. Sun Tzu closes with intelligence, and it is no accident that this comes last. All the strategy, tactics, and adaptability in the world are worthless without accurate information. Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from men, not from spirits, not from experience alone, but from people who know. He describes 5 types of spies and says the sagacious leader will use all 5 in harmony, creating a divine web of intelligence. The lesson is timeless. Before you act, know. Before you decide, understand. And the people closest to the situation will always tell you more than any algorithm or assumption. Know your enemy. Know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be defeated. Finally, and that brings us to the end of Sun Tzu's Art of War. 13 chapters, thousands of years old, still as sharp as a blade. What Sun Tzu teaches is not cruelty, it's clarity. The clearer you see your situation, your strengths, your enemy, and yourself, the less you need to fight at all. The highest victory is the one that costs the least. Thank you for listening. If this audio ebook gave you value, subscribe and share it, and join us for our next title.